Hey, I'm Nathan Tabor with Handling Life. I hope you're doing well. I want to talk to you about a subject of God's calling. When I think about that, when I start to ponder, what's God's calling for my life? What I believe it is today is much different than what I thought it was even several years ago. When I was growing up and I heard the phrase, God's calling, I immediately jumped to the thought of Africa, missionary, full-time preacher, something that required me to go into the Lord's service. But the way I look at it today, and I think this is the biblical way to look at God's calling, is really God's purpose, God's instructions to how He wants you and how He wants me to live. And so when you start breaking it down that and you hear someone say, are you answering God's calling? What we should be saying is, are you showing the love of Christ to others? Are you sharing the gospel with others? Are you forgiving others? Are you being patient with others? Are you helping those in need, the orphans and the widows? That's really when you start looking at God's calling. He's calling us to be Christ-like. Now, sure, He might be calling you into the ministry. I don't know. That's between you and Him. But don't overcomplicate that. Don't overcomplicate that relationship with God and saying, well, I don't want to give God control because I don't know if He's calling me to the mission field. Well, but just hold on. Dial it back a little bit. Just work on your daily relationship with doing the things that are really simple. If you're in God's Word and if you're developing your prayer life, you're going to want to show others the love of Christ. You're going to want to share that gospel. You're going to want to do all those things. So really start thinking about that. Can you start applying God's Word to your life? Can you start accepting His calling, His instructions, and His purpose for your life? Because when you start doing that, when you start doing those things, you'll be amazed at how God can work in your life and the things that He will use you to do for the kingdom and for His glory. If you want to learn more about handling life, visit handlinglife.org.